Inner Expeditions podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Inner Expeditions podcast. My name, of course, is Aaron Harvey. Welcome back. This is episode number 21 of the show, so it's great to have you back on board. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I'd like to welcome you on board as well. It is great to have you here with us today. Now, this week it is Mental Health Awareness Week where I live, and for that reason I decided to get a fantastic guest in. It's actually someone I've been trying to get in for a while, but it actually worked out really well that she could join me this week to align with the topic of the week being mental health awareness. So joining me today on the show is a great lady named Sharon Mumby, who is a life and wellness coach and does a series of events. She hosts yoga wellness retreats, sound retreats and wellness, all sorts of things along that category. So we're going to chat a lot about that and Sharon's journey into how she got into the wellness coaching side of things, and also her experiences that led her into that path as well, overcoming issues with being a new mum, I think, and areas along that sort of path. So have a listen. Hope you enjoy it. This is going to be a great one for women and new mums in particular, as that's kind of where Sharon sort of found that that's where she struggled a little bit and wanted to help other people in that department as well. But check it out. It's a great one. Hope to speak to you again after the episode. Okay, Sharon, welcome to the show. How you going?
We're finally here. It's taken a few reschedules, but we're finally in the room together.
It has. It's been, there's been, with life and kids and rescheduling and work, it's been a process, but I'm glad, like we were talking just before the show, how it's all, I think it's for a reason, and you're feeling more ready and better to do it now as well, which is good. How have you been? How's
I'm good.
treating you?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm doing pretty good actually. Yeah.
I know it's been a journey for you to get your wellness business up and running with Sharon Mumby Coaching. How's all that been going and coming about?
Yeah, good. Gosh, that's just a process in itself, really. Just sort of going through barriers of self-doubt and worthiness and all those sorts of things, and to the point that, sometimes I have to look back and realise how actually far I've come, and sort of acknowledge myself for that and go, yeah, okay, cool. Like a year ago today, there was no way I'd be sitting here in a podcast with you. And some of the things that I'm, asking to collaborate with other people with and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely, it's little steps, but you always have to look back every now and then just to realise what you've done. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was only thinking of something the other day, and you're saying that you're not that sort of not worthiness, or I saw something the other day, they call it imposter syndrome, where you think you're not up to the standard of other people that are doing similar things. And, I was sort of doing the same thing, like, who wants to listen to me, a relative sort of nobody talking on stuff. And it's like, no, I've lost like 40 kilos. Like I've been through stuff. Like I'm worthy. Like I'm doing okay. And reminding myself of that and giving myself a pat on the back. I was like, no, this is okay and it's good, right?
Yeah, bloody oath for sure. Yeah. Gosh, yes.
I mean, I suppose for you getting started, there's a part of your story early on that got you on this path, doing what you're doing now. Where sort of did you find that it started, and then where you were working on yourself before you realised, okay, I want to do this for to help other people as well?
Yeah, well, actually, when I first started, sort of, it's how far back do you want to go?
As long as you feel it's relative. I mean, I found for me it was a journey within myself where I had no idea I was going to podcast and help other people out back then, but there was work I wanted to do on myself, and I started on a journey that took me in a different direction, I guess. Is that something similar to what happened with you?
Yeah, I think very early on when I started sort of being aware of how I felt, and, I knew then that even though I was literally in the depths of it, I knew that I wanted to help other women not feel the way I felt. And so very, very early on, I didn't know how, I didn't know if it would actually happen, but I just was like, I want to help other women learn more about themselves, because at the end of the day, that's what I needed to do. I needed to find myself again. Like, my husband and I got together quite young. We had children not long after, and so my whole life was my children and my husband, and I just kept myself busy, you know, like I was so busy all the time, you know. And then once we sort of moved here, you know, our circumstances changed. My husband was a drive in, drive out. The older two were at school. I was pregnant with our youngest, and all of a sudden, all the negative thoughts that I'd been fighting for all the busy, you know, like with busyness, all amplified, and it was just, it was too much, you know, like it was hard, and I was stopping myself from, like, I wasn't living my life at all, and it was affecting my youngest daughter, because it was, you know, I'd get invited to things, but I was so embarrassed of who I was, and I was ashamed of myself, and it was all because of me. It wasn't because of her, but it was, you know, I feel, you know, to this day, like I impacted her early childhood because of the way I felt. But I needed to go through that to get to where I am today, and then hopefully be a good role model for my children, as they know me as I am today in their teenage years. And, you know, my youngest is now 11. So,
yeah, I definitely think you are, because even talking with you, and even we've been messaging backwards and forwards and speaking to you through your business, and I mean, there's just such a positive output that you have, and it's just a good experience talking to you every time, because you've put the work in. But, I mean, if you're looking back at that stage, and I think either it's gone through being young or through motherhood, it definitely puts a lot of pressure on women as they struggle, and they have that guilt that they're either not the mother that they think they are, or they're doing all the right things that they feel like they should be doing for your children. Is that kind of sort of where you were at that stage?
Oh, definitely. And I think especially because we moved to a town where young mums weren't very, you know, it's very common now. Like, it's amazing, the women now that are having children at young ages, and they're doing an amazing job. But moving to a town where I was, and it could also be my perception, you know, like I might have just been making it up in my head, but I felt the judgment of being a young mum, and just, you know, like I didn't want to have those children, you know, I didn't want to have naughty children. I was so hard on my older two children. Like I look back now and I think, far out, I was so hard on them, all because so I didn't look like a bad mum, you know. It's in some ways it's, you know, very good, because they're, you know, they have great manners and all that sort of thing. But, you know, like I sort of wish even as a mum, I wish I relaxed a lot more with them and wasn't so worried about what other people thought of me. And that's where even my people pleasing, you know, like I was such a people pleaser, and I would do anything to sort of, you know, help others, and, you know, suppose have them not think the worst of me, you know, to myself and my children and Daniel's detriment, you know, like it wasn't a good place.
Yeah, to the point that you were the one that was suffering so much because you were just so involved in projecting that and putting that time into, making it look amazing. And I got no doubt you still would have been doing a great job, but it's just, like I say, it's in your head that you're not, and giving yourself zero time for yourself either, I bet.
Yeah. I think, you know, looking back, I did do a great job. I just wish I acknowledged myself for it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't so hard on my family and myself at the time, and just enjoy it, just being more present, you know, with the kids. Like, you know, I was so worried about, you know, what they were doing, or, you know, like, you know, how we'll perceive that. It was like, just enjoy them, you know, they're now
don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about
Don't worry
it.
about that. We're doing good. We're having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like no one really gives a crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we think they do.
Yeah.
But
everyone's going through exactly the same
Exactly.
emotions. They're probably having the same thoughts.
Yeah.
And everything. So, yeah, accepting that and, yeah, like you're saying, being present and letting that other stuff fall away, I suppose.
Yeah.
So when did you feel like you had started – I mean, I think realisation is the first sort of step that you sort of want to change, and then how did things go about after that once you thought, okay, I'm going to look at changing this about a little bit?
So I when we moved here to Exmouth, as I said, like I was sort of alone by myself a lot more, and all the I was very hard on myself. Like you wouldn't say anything, you wouldn't say to anyone what I was thinking about myself, and it was constant about everything, and it was too much. It was very much too much, and I knew I had to do something. I had to either talk to someone or see someone or it's something. I didn't know what to do. I went to the doctor and I sort of said to him, I know something's wrong. I don't know what to do. I'd prefer not to go on medication. But I said, what's an alternative that I can do? And so I did go and speak to someone in town at the time, but you know, the rapport wasn't there with the person that I was with. My daughter was with me. She was a baby. Like, you know, I could not relax. It was just, this is too much. Like, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And then searching online, I came across a woman, she's a life coach, and I was just like, you know, maybe I'll give that a go, you know, like I loved like what she did. She was on YouTube. She did YouTube videos, Facebook, and that went around then. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That makes me feel old.
Yeah, I know. But it was like, you know, that was, and looking at her, I could see myself in her, and I could see myself in her, and I didn't want to be her, but I wanted to be positive like her. So, I contacted her and just sort of said what the goal is. You know, like life coaching was a very new term. I had no idea about it. All I knew is that I needed to talk to someone, and so that we sort of, that was it, just started. And as I was having my sessions with her, it was all online, so I wasn't seeing anyone in town, so that sort of helped me sort of have that bit of like protection of, you know, of who I was or anything like that. I didn't, you know, want to see them on the street or
yeah.
I mean, now I'd be completely fine with it, but back then I was just so vulnerable. I think the word is right. I just gave that a go. And in our sessions, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help women like this. And like as I said, I didn't know how, but I knew that life coaching was going to be a big part of my life. And over the years, I'd say probably since then, I've seen multiple people, talk to multiple people. And I think that was the biggest thing that I had to realise was it is okay to talk to someone. And it's actually, and I know that I'll talk to someone, whoever that is, probably for the rest of my life, because it's just so nice to be able to not, you know, like you don't want to worry your family, you don't, you know, and just stuff that is just so trivial, like, and it's all in your head, you know, and you know that it's a lot to you, but when you have an outside perspective, when they're sort of like, you know, sort of give you an unbiased opinion, you sort of think, well, actually, you know, a lot of it's not true that I'm talking about myself, and just sort of help you have actions in place to sort of step out of that mindset. And it can be little steps, like it can be minute steps. Like I am very honest in saying, like, I am like a 10-step person, and then I walk back about 15 steps. Like it's constant, like everything I do, you know, but every time I go back, I learn a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So yeah, that was sort of where it started. And, you know, since then I've spoken to life coaches, I've got mentors, healers. I'm open to all of it now. I think learning about myself and actually just coming to accept who I am has been probably the biggest thing. I know that, parts of me I would get really cross about myself about something, like I don't really like to go. I'm not a late night person or at parties or, at the pub or something like that. And, I'd be like, I'd come home early and I'd be like, oh, God, why can't I just stay longer? Like, why can't I just be normal and just stay longer? But, and then I had to sort of say, do I actually want to stay longer? It's like, no, I don't want to stay longer. I'm done. Like, I'm literally done. So it's sort of, you sort of have to remind yourself that it's okay.
Like, to be you.
Yeah, to be me and to accept me for who I am and not trying to change myself. And that's probably what I was doing probably at the beginning, trying to change myself to what I thought was what I should be like. So, yeah.
It's a tough one because, you work so much on that perception of, you want people to like you and you want to be seen in the right light. But at the end of the day, in doing that, you're kind of not living your true self. You're not being your own person. So breaking out of that and realising that, I'm me, and if what I do is different, then that's okay. I've got my own thing, and the first person you should be worrying about pleasing is yourself. Yeah, cutting yourself some slack as well.
Definitely. And people, when people are being themselves, you can see it. They, that expression where they, or that the sun shines out of their face like sunbeams, and it's true because they just feel they're comfortable, and and who's not to say like what I like today, I might not like in 2 months' time, and that's okay.
Yeah,
like because as long as you come back to being yourself, just sort of remembering who you are and learning what you like. That's that's what.
Look after that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking before with how you talk to yourself inside, and you can really take that negative tone. Well, it's not even so much. I was listening to, I think it was a radio program. It might have been on ABC radio or something. There was a person on there talking about languages and how you vocalise things. It's not just what you say to yourself, but it's how you say it to yourself as well. Because if you're talking negatively to yourself, you guarantee that tone is going to be like the old gym coach telling you that you're not worth anything, or it's more than just what you're saying; it's how you're saying it. And I remember that being a really clear point for me, was realising that it's how I was speaking to myself as well. So once I let that voice go, and then it was kind of just words, I could kind of let them go.
Yeah,
and it sort of freed myself a little bit as well. It was really nice to have that realisation.
And it's scary. Like I remember voicing it once to my husband, and he was just shocked. Like he's going, "What? That's what you say to yourself?" I'm like, yeah, like a lot, like all the time, and it's, the main words are like failure and, loser and you're so like worthless. And, that's at the start, like my mantra was, I am worthy, I am loved, I'm enough, I am, like I just constantly said it over and over again. I didn't believe it. I had to, but it was almost to block the voices out to get to the point where I, it was sort of it was sort of louder than the negative. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I still have those days, it's just, I suppose now, like I need to, and it's still a learning curve, what can I do to help, like, is it just going out to the beach and just screaming your head off, or, just go for a swim to refresh your body, or, write it all out and just sort of brain dump it, get it out of your head, dance to music, and just sing on the top of your lungs or something, give your kids a cuddle and kiss and, just cry to your husband or partner and just be like, oh my God. Like.
But as soon as you get it out of your head, it's more real.
Yeah.
The longer you keep it in there for,
it just goes round and round.
It doesn't go anywhere. But as soon as you let it out, it becomes real, and it takes weight then, because it's out in the open. And I think that's a part of that first sort of step of moving along. It doesn't have to be, even if you can't find an expert to speak to, just someone.
Yeah,
to
anyone.
listen.
Yeah. Just even if you just voice message it to yourself, like if it, if you don't have anyone to talk to, or even just talk it out aloud, like in the house.
Make it real. Make it something
and
tangible.
It's like that brain dump, like you're just getting it out of your head, like you sort of like, I'm sort of like waving my arms around, like psh, like emptying your head, So
But it's that small process. You don't have to tackle everything at once. So I think a lot of people, and I've spoken about it before, is you kind of see the end result as this massive wall that you have to climb, and you don't. That's always going to be there, but you're just going to be able to climb up and take those steps, take those small steps, and it's always going to be a journey, and goals will change as you break down barriers and you have new experiences. You're going to have other things to aim for. So
yeah, definitely.
now, and having that purpose, I think, like you're saying, the fact that you knowing that you wanted to help other people gave you a purpose and a drive to really pick yourself up and move along. So
yeah,
it's been good. I mean, I'm so glad that you've A, got out of that, and B, that you're now, you like how easily you can comfortably and talk about it, I suppose, and then you're helping other people with the same stuff.
I think one thing I would like to say about myself is I am happy to talk about it with anyone, and I welcome, as we were talking about before, Aaron, like everyone has a story, and everyone would be able to relate to some sort of part of each other's stories. And if we can help each other, and just even one conversation, that one conversation could just spark just a little something, and the power of words, whether they're negative or positive, it's very powerful. But I suppose you just need to veer the way to positive, because if you get stuck in that negativity,
And you can put such good protective barriers up too, so people, they don't see it, like you're saying, Dan had no idea. So you have these protective layers that you put up and these walls that you put up so people don't know. But the more you protect yourself, the worse it gets, where I think when you let that wall crumble, and I found myself like just at one point, it was just I'm just going to completely expose everything and talk about everything that's happened and expose all of my weaknesses. Once that's done, you're free. you know? And getting it all out there, like don't leave anything unturned, like just everything that is bothering you or is getting you down or how you feel, as soon as you put that out there, you are just so much lighter, and you can start rebuilding from that.
Yeah.
Honestly, and being honest with yourself, and start from the ground up. Yeah. And there's nothing to worry about. It's such an important thing to do. You're right.
Yeah. And in saying your story, you're helping someone else with their story.
Because they then know that they're not alone either.
Yeah. And it's all hope. It's giving yourself hope. I can do this. I can get myself out of this.
How are you feeling now?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I remember real pivotal moments for me in my story. There was real turnaround moments where things really embedded into me and made a lot of sense. And it is a journey. You're not going to get it right, and it's never going to be perfect. You're still a human being. You're still going to feel shitty, and you're still going to get angry, and they're perfectly great emotions to have. You need to have emotions. You need to feel the way you do about things, but it's how you react to those emotions that are where you can start making those changes.
Yeah, and everything's trial and error. Some days, like what will work won't work the next day. Or you might do something, you're like, oh gosh, I can't. Why did I like that? I didn't like that before. Oh my goodness.
But kids are the best thing for that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, cooking dinner every night. They could love one thing.
Yeah.
Oh great, I'm going to bring that out next time. That's my trump card when I don't know what to cook for dinner. I'm going to cook them the same thing. Like, I don't like that anymore. And it's like, that was 2 nights ago. So they're a good test at keeping where you're at and keeping that patience level going. It's just,
Definitely.
But it's having a reaction. Perfectly natural emotion. You need to feel things. You need to have emotions, happiness and anger and sadness, but just having a brief moment to get in touch with your higher self and go, okay, I'm not going to react the way I normally would. I'm not going to let those triggers go off. Being aware enough to go, okay, this is happening. Yes, I'm angry, but let's all just lower the setting here and go about it a different way. It's so important.
Yeah, definitely. And learning about it. Even a couple of weeks ago, I had a really bad day. Like I was really upset. The words, like they were just amplified in my head. And what I learned from that was I needed to communicate it with my husband more, because I needed him to know that I was like that. And
Why
all I
you're like
needed, all I wanted was just a hug and a cuddle, a kiss and a hug from him. Just, everything's okay.
Yeah.
And that's,
And it's better for everyone.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then I probably would have been over it a lot quicker than what I
Yeah.
what I did. So it's just, and that's what it is. And that's what life is, like trial and error, like with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially like trying to learn about who you are, you're not going to know if you don't try it.
That's right.
So.
And a big part of that I've found is just being honest.
Yeah.
When you're asked to look inside, if you're lying to yourself about certain things, you're not going to move past those things. You've got to be able to expose yourself and I need to be brutally honest with myself here and accept that there are things that I am not great at. Accept that and then deal with it and move on. But that self-honesty is such a big one.
Definitely. And that also expands to people who you're around as well, things that you are doing, like what you were talking about with food and exercise in your previous podcast. Like, you sort of, once you sort of start this, you sort of become more aware of things around you and they may need a change. You may need to just, but you don't need to do it all at once.
That's right.
Like it's just little steps, steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And find your groups if you're finding something that you're doing now that you weren't doing before.
Yeah.
It's a good community to be a part of is finding other people doing similar things. It kind of keeps you in check and keeps you going.
Definitely.
As well.
And that's also the beauty of online too. You can talk to people about the same thing that you love and they're all around the world. Like it's, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Definitely. I love it.
I do. I love it. Just, it's so inspiring speaking to people that, hats off to people that when they're younger have that realisation that there's something bigger than themselves, to an energy to put their self-worth towards. And I find with a lot of people, and we're alike in many ways, where we've been through something to make that change happen, you know what I mean? You have that experience and, people always say once you've hit rock bottom, you can only bounce back.
Yeah.
So sometimes it'll be a full process of something to force that change. But, respect to those people that have that awareness early on and say, hey, look, this is how I'm going to live. It's
definitely.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's very impressive. And it all comes back down to like knowing who you are and being aware and just sort of you can make the change. And I think that was probably one of the biggest lessons I've had in all this is I for a while there at the start, I was looking externally for things to help me change. And no one or nothing can help you except yourself. So no one's a mind reader. So you sort of, you need to help yourself. And that's really hard. That can be really hard to put yourself forward and just be sort of a little bit like, hey, yo, I like this. Like, instead of, and especially I suppose we, a lot of people do it as a family, as parents or as career people, like, everything else is a priority beside yourself. So, putting yourself forward, it's scary, definitely scary, but it's empowering as well.
And it's not a selfish thing to do.
No.
You always do it, and more as a parent than anything, you feel like having that bit of time aside every day to do something for yourself, it's such a selfish thing to do, but it's totally not.
Yeah.
You need that time to get yourself on track, get yourself right, and then once you've done that and you're okay with yourself, you're so much better for the people directly around you.
Definitely. Yeah. And if it's even learning what that is, because that's the stage that I was at. I didn't even know what I liked.
Yeah.
And talking about pinnacle moments, like I remember I did a course like to become a leader for a group in town, and the lady who was teaching us said, "Oh, what's your hobbies?" And I sort of looked at her and I was just like, I don't know what my hobbies are. Whatever my children do.
Yeah.
And it was that for me was a real like, oh my gosh, like this is like, who am I?
Yeah.
And that's, just learning what you like is just start at the beginning. Like what sort of, do you actually like the glass that you're drinking out of. You know, would you prefer to drink in a cocktail glass? Go and get the cocktail glass and drink your water out of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it could be as minute as that. Like, do you like the T-shirt you're wearing? No, I don't like the T-shirt. Take it off. Give it to Mrs. Max. Like it's all good. So it's like it's just little things that we've put up with for so long that we can just little changes.
Yeah. What did you find that you like doing now? What are your hobbies now?
Oh, I love learning. Yeah. I never ever thought I would be that person. I laugh actually occasionally because my daughter's just finished. She's just graduating high school this year. And I actually said to her, I said, do you know now you could, if you want to study, you could study stuff that you love, you know. And I said, I'm studying things at the moment that I absolutely love and it lights me up. So at this stage it's learning. I love reading. My bowls, I love my sound bowls. Yeah. Walking, like just being outside, you know, just go down to the beach, just sit there. Yeah. Even I'm still learning what I want to do.
Yeah. You never stop learning. I don't think you ever want to stop learning because it keeps you moving.
Yeah, and at different times of your life it'll change.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Because I know with what you do with your wellness, so you're coaching women's wellness and that whole journey, you involve your yoga, you do your sound heals and stuff like that, and congratulations, like you've just started your yoga and your yin yoga. Yeah,
so I've been doing some collaborations in town with some amazing women.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Oh gosh, yeah. I've worked with such beautiful people, and I'm so grateful of them to taking a chance with me. Yeah. And yeah, so our latest one is on this weekend with Kylie, so doing a yin. I'm not sure when you post this.
That's all right. No, it's going to be out. Yeah, it'll be out soon. Yeah.
So we're doing a yin yoga, and then the sound. So and then I'll be starting my sound sessions and women's circles up probably the start of next year.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And just just having, I think just community and having women together with support, it's just so powerful. And like you were saying, like just sort of being in, like having those people that you can talk to. I wave my arms around a lot.
That's good. Makes it work.
I know Aaron's watching me like move my arms around.
No, it's awesome. It helps get it out there, so it's good to. Yeah, no, I'm doing it too, so it must be working. Yeah. No, it is good, and I know it's been epic in the past with some great ladies in town that have done similar things and having full moon ceremonies, cacao ceremonies, all that kind of stuff. I'd see even when my wife Renee goes to things like that, it's just she comes back just feeling so much better. You're just in a zone. There's, it's hard to describe. There's a book I'm reading at the moment called Backbone, and we've spoken about it before with Shane. He gave it to me in the episode I did with him. But there's kind of like the four people that you need to be, and you have your king who is your leader, not to rule as such, but your king is. If there's stuff fixing, you need to fix your kingdom. You keep your kingdom together, you're working. And then you have your warrior that does that hard work for you. He puts in the work. Yeah. Then you have your mystic, which is like your spiritual side. It's that really in touch side, in tune with yourself. And then you have the lover, which is it's your senses. It's appreciating the situation that you're in. It's when you do something that's incredible, that feeling that you get of really being in the moment and being lit up, like it might be a great day out with your family and everyone feels special at the end of the day, or going to a ceremony and really extending your feelings out and taking that on board. It's you want more of that, and it's obtaining a happiness that it's all through life, and the daily ups and downs can't touch that deeper happiness which you have to give yourself. So it's really important to be aware of those things.
Yeah. And I think, when we don't do it enough for ourselves, like with life being so busy, so it's so amazing when you do take the time out of your day, your week, with all your family and your commitments to make the most of that time and be present, like actually be present with who you're with. And, sometimes it's hard. Like we multitask so much. We're very bad at it because we can't technically multitask.
Yeah, that's right. You can't. You
No,
can't
you
do
can't.
4 things at once. So just focus on what you're doing at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. We might have a nice sunset. We'll quite often sit out the front of the house. We've got just some little steps that we sit on. Yeah, it's not like a proper area. We'll just sit on the steps, and the kids might play out the front, and we'll watch the sunset over the hills. And you just realise that it's just a really special time. It's nothing in particular really happening. You're just a little family together, and when you can acknowledge that and accept that something is happening, it makes you feel really special inside. It's one of those things that you just can't touch.
Yeah.
It's just a little moment of happiness that makes you grateful for everything that's going on.
Exactly. And those little moments, like if you add them more during your day, it adds up.
It does.
All the little bits,
Yeah.
even if it's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think I get stuff with running where, and I'll look at a lot of people on your socials and that, and they're like, it's great to go and meditate and have a quiet space, but man, I don't get a lot of quiet times and spaces. Like, sometimes they're a really good test of character can be, I think when you're getting more on top of your game and you're learning more about yourself is when things are really tough, you can go, okay, I'm going to just take a little moment here amongst the chaos to just reset and take control of the situation, then letting, like I say, we talk about behaviours and feelings, not letting those feelings get on top of you as well.
Yeah.
So.
And even just voicing it, just saying, guys, hello, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or I just want to go to the toilet by myself for 2 minutes. Please just give me that,
I love doing I've got just a little 5-minute breathing exercise through my activity tracker. It's just a little box breathing session, and after 5 minutes I can do that. And that generally can get me into a pretty good little
that's
awesome
awesome.
zone as well. But yeah.
And that's it. You've got that in your tool belt. You know what's going to work, and what you need. So it's just filling up your tool belt with all the little things that can help.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the run's the biggest one for me. It's when Renee really knows I'm getting really edgy and I haven't been for a run, she's like, okay, off you go. But now I find like a short run's good, but sometimes I just need the weekend where I can go disappear for a good couple of hours and really hash it out. So that's a good one for me too. But grateful that I get the time to do that.
So good.
Come back a lot better.
Yeah.
Better, Aaron.
What did you do before? My goodness.
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, I was the same thing. I don't know what my hobbies were back then, but I'm glad that the ones I have now are an active, a part of being active, and having that drive to improve not only on a mental note, but as also physical. They just seem to go so well hand in hand. Of
definitely
physical well-being promotes that sort of mental well-being and confidence. I think. Yeah, having overcome some physical barriers, it gives you the confidence which you then take into nearly anything. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome. This is fun. I'm having so much fun doing this. This is great. I know we spoke about with your situation when you were younger and where things sort of started happening for you was from being a mum. Do you have ladies in your group that come to you where it's maybe not so much a motherhood thing but a life in general thing or different situations? How do you combat that compared to that sort of guilt or that thing from being a mum?
I think it's, anything where you put yourself last, and it could be being a parent, it could be your career, volunteer groups, it could be anything, It's so easy to make yourself busy, so easy.
Yeah.
But scrolling all day when you got that pocket of time, and I do it myself. Like sometimes I have to make the effort, like stop, put the phone down, be with myself, instead of trying to fill that space up with something. Yeah,
because even scrolling's, it's not relaxing.
No.
It's still taking thought, and I think it's that comparison factor as well.
Definitely.
That's a big one for so many people, is that comparison that you're sitting there trying to relax and you're probably comparing yourself to these photos of people, supposedly living these ideal lives. But it's not often the case either.
No. No, definitely. And I suppose the more you fill your cup up with happiness in your life, it sort of doesn't bother you as much, which is awesome. Yeah. Because I've found that over time that it's, I suppose I'm trying to turn that opinion of comparison is like, good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them. But the reminder is everyone has a story.
That's right.
Everyone has come through something to get to that.
Yeah.
So, and we're all the same. Like, we all have stories.
Yeah. Yeah, you could guarantee that everyone is going through something that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Nearly everyone.
Yeah.
They
Definitely.
Just, don't let people know of or they just keep it tucked away or whatever. But
yeah.
You can almost guarantee that,
Yeah. And, you know, some people on Instagram have, like you sort of, they will announce something that they've been through, and it's, you know, they've been going through it for like 4 months. You had no idea.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, sometimes when they do that, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, so their life's not actually 100% all amazing.
Yeah.
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 It sort of gives a bit of a, well, my life's not always amazing either. We're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even knowing, when you see people do that, you instantly feel, I mean, better for them, because you know,
yeah,
it could take a long time to get to the point where you say something, and then you're going to know how good they feel once that
definitely
is out there. There's just that massive weight that's lifted, so you're happy the fact that things are starting to turn around.
Yeah.
By even just saying that. So
yeah, exactly. And for them, it's almost a relief. Like, oh, it's out now. Oh my gosh, it's out.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide it anymore. I don't have to pretend to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is heartbreaking, because that's probably what they do.
Yeah. And so it can be a long time. It's sometimes it'll really take something to break that, you know, to make it happen. You've almost got to be forced to do it because you can't take it anymore. You've pushed yourself down that far. So
yeah.
It's horrible in the fact that they have been pushing themselves down that far to breaking point.
Yeah.
But like I say, there's always an upside to hitting rock bottom. So
yeah,
very important. We've had a pretty epic chat so far already about your story, people's stories, and what you're doing. I guess for you, it's what's coming next, which I'm a little bit excited about, because you sort of mentioned that you're thinking about starting a podcast as well next year.
Oh, Aaron, I have my ideas. I have a lot of ideas of what I'd like to do, but I actually have to be okay with where I am with that, because I would always be like, I want to do this and I want to do that, but realistically, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would like to do a podcast one day, and I actually want to call it One Day, because I feel like I've said that so many times about so many things.
I think we've said it to each other a lot of times, even just orchestrating this happening.
Yeah,
so,
one day. So, I look forward to that. So Aaron will be helping me, giving me tips.
Oh, I'd love to. I can't wait. I'm just excited.
I know.
I hope I didn't put you under pressure then by sort of mentioning.
No, not at all. No.
It's nice to make yourself accountable sometimes as well by saying it. But yeah, I'm going to keep putting pressure on you. Not putting pressure, but I'm going to keep making sure I keep you in check that you're going to do that, because I know how helpful that'll be for a lot of people as well. So yeah. It's a good thing to do.
I love it. I love just hearing other people's stories, like what we were saying, like just everyone has a story. How do they get to where they are right now? Like, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what people have been through to be where they are now is admirable.
Yeah, that's right. And some people, they could be going through a lot more than what you even think, you know. When you see people that not necessarily in the best of moods, or, you know, they're probably not fully in control of what they're doing at that time, but it could be the fact there's something a lot worse going on than what we could even imagine. So you've got to cut people some slack sometimes.
Definitely.
And have some tolerance there for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I was going to ask you some more stuff about that, because but I can't think of what it was now. It's gone from me. But that's okay. I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Had a great time chatting. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you.
It's been awesome, and it's been worth the wait. I know that, you know, things happen for a reason, and I think the fact that this, you know, took a bit of time to orchestrate, but I'm so glad it did, and you're definitely more ready, and
yes,
it's been good. I'm glad it was definitely worth the wait. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Sharon, and coming in, giving me your time for free to chat. It's been much appreciated, and I think there's so many people who are going to get something out of your knowledge and your experience and wisdom. So thanks.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a real honour to be here. So
it's my pleasure. I just know that everyone that I invite has got something that's great to share, and everyone's always nervous when they
Yeah.
start, but once I can sit here and watch you cross and watch you go and watch you talking about what you love doing and how you're helping people. It's like, man, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like you're doing good.
Thanks.
No worries at all. We're going to wrap up, but I just wanted to give you a quick mention for your socials. You're active on Instagram at Sharon Mumby Coaching.
Yep.
Are you on Facebook as well?
I am on Facebook, yeah.
And it's the same?
Yeah, it's the same. And soon I'm in the process of doing a website.
Yeah, awesome. Well, when you put it out there, I'll share that as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll put it on when we do the post. I'll share it and tag you so people can get it. It's Sharon, it's SHARON, Sharon Mumby Coaching.
Yeah.
So get that
Perfect.
one, and I'll put it in the show notes as well so people can track it down and follow you, because the stuff you share on there is pretty awesome as well. It's always nice. I get a little bit of a lift when I see what you're up to and have a bit of a laugh as well.
It's a bit
good.
of fun,
It is. That's what it's all about. I'm
Yeah.
slowly learning. I think when you came in today, I was having a bit of fun posting some stuff, getting ready to do this. So it's nice to lighten up a bit and have a bit of fun with it. It's good.
Definitely.
Awesome.
No, it is a bit of fun. So thanks, Aaron.
No worries. Thank you. You're the star of the show and the guest. So I just appreciate your time and your kind words and all your experience. It's great. I no doubt people are going to get something great out of it. So.
Awesome.
Man, what a good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. It was a lot of fun to do, but also a serious topic. So I think some of the big takeaways I got from that were just that if you are struggling and dealing with stuff inside, to take it easy on yourself, and also that you make sure that you reach out, because it's the first step in starting that recovery and healing process. I think once you talk about it and you put it out there, it's real and it's tangible, and you're then more likely to act. So don't keep that stuff inside, and make sure that you are looking after yourself. And what you do say to yourself is good, positive, and in a good tone. So please make sure that you're doing that and that you reach out. A couple other really good things I really thought were of good benefit from the episode were just making sure that you take time for yourself and to limit outside influences affect how you feel about yourself. I think it's really important that you focus on yourself, treat yourself nicely, and just to make sure that when you do take time for yourself, to have 5 or 10 minutes, or you can get half an hour a day doing something that you like doing, is that you put down any of those outside influences and just make sure you have time for yourself and to focus on the moment and your surroundings rather than what's on your computer screen or what's on your phone screen. Make sure you put those away, because it's not really allowing yourself to shut off properly. So it's so vital that you give yourself that chance. But hey, look, I had a great time with Sharon. She's such a great lady to be around. She's such a warm, funny and positive person to be around. It was just so great. We managed to finally line up the episode, and I'm glad that that it happened when it did and everything was in the right place to be here for Mental Health Week as well. But don't feel like that because it's not Mental Health Week that you can't reach out to someone. And if you do see someone struggling, start that conversation up. You don't have to be qualified to deal with anything. Most of the time it's just listening. Just being there to listen is that first thing, and you never know, it could turn something around for someone that is struggling with something that you may not have even known anything about. So that's such an important one. But yeah, on the out, as we taper off, don't forget to check out Sharon's Instagram and Facebook pages. She has a bit of fun on there, and she's not shy of having a good laugh and joke about life in general as well. So it's a really positive, fun page to check out, so do that as well. Any other info that you need, just check out the Inner Expeditions podcast page on Instagram, and I'll drop any links or anything you need to know to check out those avenues as well. Otherwise, hey, look, it's been great to have you again. Look after yourselves out there in the real world, and I hope whatever you are doing, you are benefiting from it in a positive way, and that you are looking after yourself and the people around you and giving yourself the best chance to be that version of yourself. So until next time, I'll speak to you soon.